Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alexis and happy holidays. Today I will be sharing all of the 2023 new releases that are on my radar. If you have any that are on your list as well, feel free to comment them down below. I'd love to hear what you're looking forward to. But with that being said, let's get started. The first book I have here is The Choice, written by A. Jade, aka Ashley Jade. This is the same author who wrote The Words, and it came out earlier this year. Unfortunately, I have yet to read it. It is still on my TBR, but as far as I know, this one is a rock star romance, second chance. There was a falling out because of something the hero did, and the heroine is still trying to forgive him, but at the point that they are brought back into each other's lives, the hero is an established rock star but going through distractions that aren't helping, and she is brought in as a way to get him back on track, knowing that she hates his guts. So that one I hope to get to soon. But The Choice, this is supposed to be the first in a duet or duology. This is for the Star-Crossed Lovers duology, and the second one is supposed to come out later in the month, but I'll get to that in a moment. The Choice comes out on January 19th. The next book on my list comes out on January 24th, and that is The Duke Gets Even by Joanna Shupe. This is the fourth book of the Fifth Avenue Rebels series. I have yet to start. She is one of the historical romance authors that have been on my TBR, and I have yet to try. But I am also interested in earlier books from this series, so I'm hoping this is going to live up to my expectations. I'm kind of going in blind, other than the fact that it's historical romance. But with that being said, this is on that list. After that, we're going back to Ashley Jade, or A. Jade, with The Consequence. This one is coming out on January 24th. This is the second book of the Star-Crossed Lovers duet or duology. The last book for January that I'm looking forward to is The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the third book of the Dreamland Billionaire series. If you haven't heard of them now, now you know. But it's essentially a world the author created, heavily inspired by Disney World, and it follows three brothers that need to do certain tasks in order to gain the inheritance from their grandfather. This follows the second son, but the other two sons, the eldest and the youngest, were already completed in the first and second book. I did enjoy those as well. So far, the second I favor more than the first, but I'm holding out hope for The Final Offer as well. This one comes out on January 31st. The next book on my list comes out February 7th by Katee Roberts, is Radiant Sin. This is the fourth book in the Dark Olympus series. I did previously enjoy the Lord Olympus series. It's a webtoon series. I'll place an image here. Those are being printed now in volumes as well. But because it's inspired by Greek mythology, but in more contemporary setting, it has been recommended to me to start the Katee Roberts series, Dark Olympus, and this is the fourth book. Unfortunately, I've yet to read the previous ones, but again, it is on my radar. Another book coming out on February 7th is by Liz Tomford, and that is The Right Move. This is supposed to be the same author who wrote The Mile High, which I have yet to read, but it recently blew up on TikTok for a bit. I'm not sure exactly how popular, but again, that is available on Kindle Unlimited, and this one I expect the same, but I'm also having that on my TBR. And another book that is coming out on February 7th is Twisted by Emily McIntyre. This is the fourth book in the Never After series, and I have yet to read those. Thankfully, they are available on my Hoopla audiobooks, so these, from what I understand, give off mafia romance vibes. I have yet to read it, anything in the series, but I am aware that they are inspired by fairy tales. So, for example, Hooked, the first book, is inspired by Captain Hook and Peter Pan reimagining. Twisted, I believe it's supposed to be following the Jafar equivalent and Jasmine equivalent from Aladdin, but again, we'll see. After that, like most people, on February 10th, I am looking forward to Powerless by Elsie Silver. This is part of a series. I did previously read Flawless and Heartless earlier this year. I enjoyed both. Heartless is my favorite so far. That is a single dad romance, age gap. It's just all the feels, small town romance. And Powerless is expected to be small town romance as well. Based on the previous comments or scenes from the book Heartless, I can assume that the hero of this book is going to be a hockey player who is a brother-like friend to the brothers from Flawless and Heartless, but there must have been some kind of falling out, but they clearly are drawn to each other or attracted to each other in some way, although they're not exactly at a good spot right now. But again, I am looking forward to this just like everybody else. After that, I am keeping an eye out for Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. I've heard other good things about this author, such as A Love Letter to Whiskey. I have yet to read that. Honestly, it sounds like a bit much even for me, although I have yet to actually have triggers. But I'm interested, just not the time yet for A Love Letter to Whiskey. However, this one does sound interesting. This is on my radar, but it's not perhaps high priority. I will say that. And that is scheduled to come out February 15th. The next one on my radar comes out February the 21st, and that is The Counterfeit Scoundrel by Lorraine Heath. I did enjoy the Hillians of Havisham series by Lorraine Heath, so I am keeping an eye out for this one as well. This is supposed to be the first book in her newest series, The Chessmen Masters of Seduction. As you can tell by the title, it is a historical romance. But yes, this one is on my radar. Another book scheduled to come out on February 21st is Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. I did read Things We Never Got Over earlier this year. I will share my thoughts in a later video this week, but I ended up, all in all, giving that 3 out of 5 stars, although my interest is piqued enough to go to the second book, which is scheduled to come out 2023. So that being said, this one, we'll see. On February 28th, The New Guy by Serena Bowen is coming out. This is the same author who co-wrote the Him, Us, and Epic books that were MM romance. I'm not too sure about this one, if it's going to be that or FF, MF, MFM, I'm not sure, but it is on my radar. This is an author I've been wanting to try. And Good Boy is another book that I'm also interested in reading in their backlist. That is scheduled to come out February 28th. The next book I am looking forward to is The Portrait of a Duchess by Scarlett Peckham. That's scheduled to come out on March 7th. It is supposed to be the sequel in the Society of Sirens series. I have yet to finish the Rakes. This is the first book in the series, so that being said, I'm hoping to complete this before I get to this. Of course, I cannot go in out of order, otherwise I feel like I'm missing information or I'm just going to be left in the dark, but I'm not trying to be that person. So on March 14th, Mafia Target is coming out by Mila Finelli. This is the same author of Mafia Mistress and the book that comes after that. Again, I have yet to try this author, but it is on my radar. and I believe this is supposed to be a continuation from that series. On March 21st, The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores is coming out. I haven't really heard anything about this author, but the cover did intrigue me, and sometimes that's just enough to pick it up. After that, Bleeding Chaos by Nikki Ash, scheduled to come out March 23rd. Another author I've been meaning to try, but this is supposed to be their new release. The book after that, on April the 4th, The Plus One by Mazzie Eddings is supposed to come out. And for me, it just reminds me of the movie that came out on Hulu a while back, and that was Plus One. It featured Dennis Quaid's son as the hero, and unfortunately the name of the actress is eluding me as well. But I really enjoyed that movie, so that's the vibe I'm getting about this book, and I'm hoping it upholds the same rom-com cutesy aspect that I enjoyed about this movie. The next book, Ana Maria and the Fox by Liana de la Rosa. This is supposed to come out April 4th. Aside from, again, the cover being of interest to me, I don't really know anything about this author. And the cover just looks stunning. If the ongoing trend of illustrated covers is to continue, I would love for it to be something like this, where it still has some dimensional aspects and still feel unique, but it doesn't have to be real people. It's just, I feel like with such flat images that are shown on other covers, the 2D images are getting really old really fast, and I wasn't a fan of them to begin with. They do feel too rom-com for me, but this one is just a stunning cover, beautiful dress, loving embrace, silhouette of the city. I'm all here for it. The next book that I'm looking forward to is by J.J. McAvoy. This is the same author who wrote Aphrodite and the Duke that came out earlier this year. I've yet to read that one, but another stunning cover. I heard so-so things about that, and same thing on Goodreads. It's so-so according to ratings, but I still intend to try it. New to me author. And Verity and the Forbidden Suitor is supposed to come out April 11th. So another stunning cover. We love to see our beautiful women on the covers and all that jazz. On April 11th as well, Abby Jimenez is going to have Yours Truly come out. This is the same author of Part of Your World. I do hear a lot of good things about that book, that it was on the Goodreads finalist list, I believe, for romance category. So that's already in favor of that book, and Yours Truly is supposed to be their next book. I'm not sure if they are supposed to be within the same series, but I haven't seen any indicators about that. And the next one that's also coming out on April 11th is Something Spectacular by Alexis Hall. This author has been on my radar for a while. They came out with the boyfriend material and husband material books. Those are contemporary romances. I do own Lady for a Duke, but again, I still have yet to read it. It's on my shelf, it's in my face every day, but I just haven't picked it up yet. I still intend to try that before getting into Something Spectacular, because this looks to be the second book in their Something Fabulous series. The first one was Something Fabulous, and this next one, Something Spectacular, is the second book. So cover is yet to be released, but again, on my radar, author I wish to try very soon. On April 18, Bewitched by Laura Thalassa is supposed to come out. This is the same author who wrote the Four Horsemen series that starts with Pestilence. And that's a series I have yet to try, but Bewitched is supposed to be the first book in a new fantasy romance series. So maybe I'll get to that one before I even jump back into the Four Horsemen, but we'll see. On April 20th, Highest Bidder by Sarah Kate is scheduled to come out. I believe this is supposed to be the same series from Praise and Eyes on Me. I haven't picked those up yet, and I believe those covers are actually going to change soon, but I'm not in a hurry to get into this because they just haven't been on my priority yet, but still on my TBR. Zora books Her Happily Ever After by Taj McCoy is scheduled to come out April 25th. Not gonna lie, it was the cover that drew me in, and the high ratings on Goodreads as well doesn't hurt. But I haven't heard anyone really talking about this yet. The last book in April I'm looking forward to is King of Pride by Anna Huang. This is the second book of the Kings of Sin series. There's going to be 7 in total, like 7 Deadly Sins. I'm honestly looking forward to this because, well, one, I enjoyed the Twisted series. I've yet to read the If Love series. I have those as well. And I did enjoy King of Wrath. But the main reason I'm looking forward to King of Pride is because the heroine is supposed to be half Chinese and half Filipina. Her name is Isabel, and her nickname is Isa. Isa in Tagalog or Filipino language is one. So I just love the uniqueness of her personality already. Her hair is dyed, I believe, purple. Honestly, I picture Kim Chu, who is a Filipino Chinese actress. Love her movies. She's very like cutesy, and her movies are rom-com-esque. So I'm definitely looking forward to King of Pride, but also kind of scared because of representation, and I don't identify as half Chinese at all, but we know for a fact on my mom's side there is some tiny percentage whatnot, but we primarily identify as Filipino on my mom's side and Black on my dad's side. So because of that biracial, bicultural element, I am a little bit more skeptical about this book because I have yet to see that in previous books by Anna Huang. The next book, Grim and Barrett by Juliet Cross, is scheduled to come out May 9th. Other books I've been interested in reading by this author, such as Something with Hex in It. I'll place the image here. Unfortunately, the name eludes me right now. This is supposed to be another book in that same series, but it's an author I have yet to try, but I'm keeping my eyes on. Next book, In Her Highlander's Bed by Lindsay Sands. This comes out on June 7th. I did read another book by this author quite a while back, Love is Blind. This is one of the first historical romances that I read actually after reading the Bridgerton series, and it's just another author I want to continue to read. I already collected quite a bit of her books as well, but I've yet to hop back in with her backlist. After that, on June 13th, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood is scheduled to come out. I did previously read The Love Hypothesis and Love on the Brain. Feel free to check out that video previously. I did post that recent. I enjoyed both of those. Both gave them 4 out of 5 stars. There were different writing styles. For full thoughts on those, again, listen to that video or watch that video. But this, I believe it's going to follow the same formula of it being women in STEM, falling in love with someone in the same field. Another author I've been meaning to try is Tracy Livesay. The book The Duchess Effect is scheduled to come out on July 11th. This is the second book that follows American Royalty. Also a stunning cover. I have yet to read, but been on my radar, so hoping to get to those. A Soul of Ash and Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout, scheduled to come out July 18th. This author, I've heard great things regarding the Blood and Ash series. If I remember correctly, I'll put an image here of the one I've been seeing around. But again, another author I've yet to try. The Art of Scandal by Regina Black is scheduled to come out on August 1st. At least that's the date I found. Honestly, just for the cover because it's stunning. Next book, The Brood by Willa Nash, aka Devney Perry, is scheduled to come out on August 10th. This author, I've heard nothing but great things regarding another series that I'll place image here as well. So because of that, I do intend to eventually get to this author. Knockout by Sarah MacLean is scheduled to come out on August 22. This is a historical romance. Another author I intend to try. I do have 3 books already by this author from the Barnacle Bastard series, 1, 2, and 3. I own those. They're somewhere, yet to read, but an author I've been keeping my eye on. There's also Bombshell that came out before Knockout, but again, I'm not sure what's going on other than the fact that it's historical romance and, it just piques my interest. A book that does not have a release date yet would be Score by Kennedy Ryan. This is supposed to follow Monk and Verity. They were side characters in Real. Real was, in fact, my first book that I read by Kennedy Ryan, and I loved it. I love everything it stands for, the themes, the emotional impact from it. Love, love, love that book. So Score is supposed to be about the composer from Real. Essentially, Real was between a director and an actress for a movie that they're producing, and from that same movie that is being produced for a biopic, the composer of that movie and someone else are getting together. So that would be Monk and Verity. Kennedy Ryan did not share an exact date yet, but she did say she's hoping for summer or fall of 2023. After that, the next book I'm looking forward to is King of Greed by Anna Huang. She did say that this is expected to be around fall 2023. No exact date yet. This will be the 3rd book of the Kings of Sin series. On November the 7th, Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herring Blake is scheduled to come out. This is the 3rd book in the Bright Falls series. I've heard great things about Delilah Green Doesn't Care. That's the 1st book in the series. The next book, Astrid Parker Doesn't Fall. I didn't really hear anything much about it yet, but that is not as popular as Delilah Green yet. So I'm hoping to get into that. As far as I understand, this is a sapphic romance series so far. I'm not sure about the 3rd book that is scheduled to release in 2023, but that's kind of what I'm assuming based on what was mentioned in the synopsis. On November 28th, A Dance of Smoke and Steel by Mila Vane is scheduled to come out. This is the 3rd book of a Gathering of Dragons series. I did read the previous book, Heart of Blood and Ashes. That is the 1st book of the series. I still need to finish A Touch of Stone and Snow. That is quite a bit slower pace compared to the 1st book, so that's kind of why I've been taking so long. But I still intend to continue the series with this 3rd one included. On December 1st, The Devil Gets His Due by Elizabeth O'Rourke is scheduled to come out. This is supposed to be part of the Devils series, the 4th one, in fact. I have yet to read any book by this author, but I know Waking Olivia is very popular. That is available on my library, so I'm hoping to get to that. A Parallel is a time-traveling romance. Also hoping to get to that soon. But this one, because the author is on my radar, this is inherently on my radar as well. Chloe Leese is also on my radar. The book If Only You is expected to come out in 2023, but we do not have a date yet. This is book 6 in the Bergman Brothers series. I have yet to get to them, but thankfully these are also available in my library, so I will be getting to those soon. And lastly, Arcana by Runix is expected to come out in 2023. It was initially going to come out in 2022, but due to personal loss, her mother did pass away this year, so it was pushed back to 2023, and understandably so. So I do still need to read Gothicana because that has been intriguing me for the past year at least. And I keep saying I'm going to read it for the fall. Didn't happen. So maybe I just won't wait for the fall season. I'll just hop into it. So that way I'll be prepared for this newest release. And those are all of the romances, whether they be historical, contemporary, or fantasy, that are currently on my radar for 2023. If you have any that I didn't mention, feel free to comment them down below, and feel free to mention as well if you are aware of any tropes or the subgenre it's part of. I would appreciate that. I know I didn't mention that for every single one of these, but it's kind of me going in blind for most of these. I don't want to know too much because sometimes by knowing tropes, I feel like it leans towards spoilers and I don't like to be spoiled. And I have no triggers that I have yet to discover. So, with that being said, until next time, my name's Alexis. Take care and happy reading.